Number 20. Data set A consists of the heights of 75 buildings. Okay, I'm going to start writing. Data set A has the heights of 75 buildings. Okay, and has a mean of 32 meters. Data set B, a different color, consists of the heights of 50 buildings and has a mean of 62 meters. And then finally, data set C is the heights of the 125 buildings that are from A and B put together, and they want to know what the mean is for C. Okay, well, how do we find the mean of something? How did they find this mean for A and B? Well, if we find a mean of a set of numbers of a data set, we add all those numbers together, then we divide by how many numbers we added. So there's 75 buildings, so that means they added up the heights of all those 75 buildings, and then they divided by 75, and that gave them the mean. So I'm going to kind of write this in words. There are some mathematical ways you can do this using a summation kind of thing, but not everyone has seen that. It's not a part of the SAT, so we're just going to use words. If anyone's out there asking, why aren't you using? That's why. That's not covered in the SAT as far as I know, unless they've changed it in the last couple of months. I haven't seen it. So we're not going to be using that. I'm just going to use words. All right, so they add up all those heights. So this is all the heights of the 75 buildings added together. Added all those together, and then they divided by how many buildings were added. That's 75, and they got the mean of 32. So here, for set B, same kind of thing. And you know what? I wrote that in blue. I should have written that in purple. Shame on me. All right, so these are the heights of the 75 buildings. I'm just going to abbreviate it a little more. Added all those together. This is the sum of the heights of the 75 buildings. They divided by the number of buildings, which is 75, and they got the mean of 32. There we go. I love color coordinating things, don't you? All right, so for B, what did they do? They did the same thing. They added all those heights together. So this is the sum. That looks like sum of, not sum of. There we go. The sum of the heights of the 50 buildings. And then they divided by the number of buildings, which was 50, and that got them the mean of 62. Now for the mean of the set C, the 125 buildings, what would we do? We would add all the 75 buildings and all the 50 buildings, all those heights. We would add them all together, and then we would divide by the total number of buildings. Okay? So that would mean I would add the sum of the heights of the 75 buildings, and I would add to that the sum, that's sum of again, the sum of the heights of the 50 buildings, add all that together, and then I would divide by the total number of buildings, which is 125. Okay, so far so good. How do I solve for these two so then I can then put them in there? Well, let's look at each equation individually. Here we have the sum of the heights of the 75 buildings. That sum was divided by 75 and got 32. We could view this as a little variable all of its own that we're solving for. If we had a variable divided by 75 and we got 32, how would we solve for x? We would say, well, x is being divided by 75. I need to multiply by 75 to undo that. Well, that's what we're going to do. Same exact thing. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, pollen, how I love you. All right, so same sort of thing. Dividing by 75. I want to undo that. I want to multiply by 75. So on the left, I have 32 times 75, which gives me 2,400. So that is the sum of the 75 buildings is 2,400 meters. I'm going to do the same thing on the next one. I have the sum of the heights of the 50 buildings was divided by 50, and it got 62. So I'm going to, and I'm running out of room, I'm going to multiply both sides by 50. I didn't plan this well at all, did I? No, shame on me. So when I do that, those 50s cancel out on the left, and I'm left with the sum of the 50 buildings on the left, and on the right, 62 times 50 is 3,100. Hey, I've got my two sums. So now I can go over here to C. The sum of 75 would be 2,400. The sum of the 50 is 3,100. I'm going to add those together, and then I'm going to divide by the total number of buildings. That's 125. And when I do that math, I get my new mean is 44. That is the mean of set C. And this is not a multiple choice, so just have to put that in. 44 is my answer. Hey guys, if this was helpful or useful in any way, please let YouTube know so I can keep helping you and others like you. Comment, like, share, subscribe, you know the drill. Also, if you're interested in practical or fun math-related items like this math clock or this hopefully humorous t-shirt, click on the links down below to check out my Spreadshop and Etsy stores. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye.